All right, man, let's get to it. Hanging with Beat Drop Podcast, episode 130. 130. Yeah, I got 30 right. All right, man. Well, how y'all doing? What's the deal, man? Hopefully everybody's doing Gucci. You feel me? 130 episodes. I appreciate you guys listening. How you guys doing, man? You know what I mean? Obviously, you guys can't talk back, but you guys could hit me back up like, "Hey, I'm doing good, B." This week it was a pretty solid week. I got to see my cousin Kev, and it's actually his birthday. It was on Monday. Called him up. I think my boy's 44. My boy's doing good. My boy's aging well. It was his daughter's 15. And it's cool, man, just seeing, that family time, seeing that those moments are just beautiful, you know what I mean? Just seeing as a parent, you just relate to it so much because I think, like, man, when Jacob turns 18, I don't think Jacob's gonna want to continue them. You know what I'm saying? But but you know what I'm saying? Like when just seeing your kids in that moment and everything you do, everything, the sacrifices you make, the money you put in for events is just to see your kids just be happy. You know what I mean? So that was awesome. And I shout out to my boy Volatile, man. I went to go check out my boy drop a set. It was good to see my boy get busy with it. So shout out to my boy Volatile. My boy Dead is staying, and we've actually had him on the podcast. That's my dog. That's the homie, man. You guys go check out the episode. I forgot what number episode it is, but if you go on the search bar, you could find a beautiful episode. You feel me? What I want to talk about today is just do it. Just do it like Nike, baby. And this is the reason why I'm saying this. So on Sunday, I posted about me going on walks. I've honestly been enjoying. It's been part of my routine. I've been more consistent with it because I remember going on walks a lot around January of this year. I was like, you know what? I saw a post of someone just like, hey, just go on walks. Leave your phone, go on walks. And there's research about, when the sun hits you, you just get this vitamin D. You get the dopamine. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh my goodness, this is good for my skin, for my brain, for just life. For me personally, it's been life changing. I've been really enjoying it. I've implemented it in my routine. My current routine right now is once I wake up, I work out. Then I drop little man at school. Then I go on my walk. I do my prayer. I do my meditation. I do my journaling, and I read the daily affirmations. I do it all, baby. Anything that could help, the mind, the body, the soul, the heart, the corazon, the whole nine. You feel me? But today, what I want to talk about is just be you, man. And I think we all have a story to tell. I think sometimes we all go through our situations in life, and we don't realize how important that could be for somebody else and how that could impact somebody. Just because you don't have 40 million followers or whatever, you think that what you had to offer is not a lot. And the reason why I say that is because on Saturday, shout out to my guy Remedio Isao. He gave me a call out of the blue. I was working on my classes, and then he gave me a call, and I was like, "What's good?" We caught up or whatever, and he was telling me about how hopefully I don't share too much, Remedio, but he was telling me about how me creating Mental Praise, has inspired him to, do his own thing as well. And I was like, man, that's like, that made me happy because when I'm doing these videos, when I'm doing all this stuff, there comes a time where I'm like, hey, I just hope that, people see the essence of the message that I'm trying to say, because I'm just sharing stuff that I go through or just the stuff that I read about or that I listen to. And I just kind of hope that I package it in a way where, it's you just like you listen and you're like, oh yeah, like that's true. The easy steps are always the best steps because it allows you to create a type of action, So we were having a good conversation, and I was really in the present and enjoying that convo with my guy because it made me just have perspective of, like, I remember me and my guy Remedio, we had a studio together, and at that time, we're just hanging out, we're doing our thing, just creating, and then my guy moved, and it was like, damn, I don't get to see my boy the same as I once did. I don't really get to talk to him as consistent as before because we had a studio together. We almost talked nearly every day. And it just made me think about how it's so important to value these relationships and appreciate people's time. And that's why I posted that on my story and talked about this before. You never know when it's the last time you have a conversation with a person. After the 15, my guy Roger came with me. And after we saw my boy Volatile set, we were outside his crib. And it's crazy. We were talking till like 5 a.m. in the morning, just talking about life and just how we just trying to do our best. That's literally the only thing you can do is just do your best, and your life starts taking these gradual improvements. I was thinking about how many of us are truly being our truest self. Are we really doing the things that we love to do, or are we even trying to do the things that we love to do? Well, Les Brown has a quote that says, "The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was afraid to take the first step. Keep with the problem or determined to carry out their dream." Now that's powerful, man. How important it is to stay true to yourself. How many of us have dreams and goals and aspirations that we don't take, or because we're afraid of judgment. And to keep it a stack, you're going to get judged no matter what. As a parent, if you let your kids use the iPad, you're going to judge you. Why are you letting your kids use the iPad? If you don't let your kids use the iPad, the people are going to be like, oh my God, you don't let your kids use the iPad. For me, I love to try things. Some things have worked. Some things haven't worked. People are going to judge me for it. Some people are going to praise you for it. In the end of the day, you got to praise yourself. You got to praise your mind. I know one thing that we got to be careful with is being careful with the external voices. Being careful with sometimes these voices you let in yourself. You start becoming someone, and then at some point, you're like, I don't even know who I am no more. And then you start to realize that you have allowed all these external voices to become who you are now. And no matter what you do, even if you want to start a podcast, no matter what it is, people are going to judge you. People are going to ask you questions. Hey, does that bring you money? Does that do this? Does that do that? Look, in the end of the day, just do something that you love to do, man. It don't even have to be big. The reality is there's around 150 deaths per day, fam. So that means if you woke up today, that's a blessing. I need to make sure that I control my energy. And I pray every day that my energy serves me joy and serves me fulfillment. And if I attract people and community that like to be part of that journey, so be it. And if people don't like it, then it is what it is. That's cool too. And that's fine. If you're happy with yourself, then you're not going to need that praise from other people, and you have this self-awareness, then it's almost like you built this armor and you have this toolkit and you just keep rocking. You just keep trying. And you wake up and you say, I think we ain't done yet because God gave me another chance. You feel me? I even had a homie reach out to me this weekend saying that, these videos that I do and this podcast, like, be helping them out. And I'm like, damn, that's awesome. I mean, that's what it's for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not have it all figured out, fam. Keeping it a stack. Like, I do not have it all figured out. I am a work in progress. And I feel like that's always going to be like that. Like, you're always going to be working on yourself, working on the relationships you have with your people, your loved ones, as a parent too. Like, that's part of growth. That's part of life. What we do with our time and the energy we have, you had to protect it. It's so easy to just be bombarded with all these things, with social media, everything. You have to be careful, we have to ask ourselves, who am I? Because if not, social media is going to tell you who you are. So if you're not constantly telling yourself, who am I, and checking in with yourself, you know what I mean? I know that thing sounds cliche, fam. I'm going to keep it a stack. When I started hearing those words, I was like, bro, like, what are we talking about? Like, what do you mean loving? You're like, come on, dog. I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that think the same way. But there comes a point where you start seeing either repeated patterns that don't serve you well. And you have to start asking yourself, like, hey, why does this happen? Or how can I get better? And if you don't check in with yourself and you don't realize what you need to work on, it's just going to be a repeated pattern. There's things where I had to keep myself accountable. And like I always say, I don't have it all figured out, but it's the action. It's the intention behind me trying to become a better person, self-growth. You have to be good with yourself because you can't give with an empty cup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. So fill your cup, fill other people's cup, especially if it's coffee, and just keep going. I think about how much time, I'm 29 now. As I get older, my I just want to be around people that create peace for me, that create good energy for me, that have good intentions for myself and themselves. And if I could support them and they could support me, that's what it's all about. It's just supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? Not tearing each other down. All right, man. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Hang with Beat Drop Podcast, episode 130. You know, check in with yourself, check in with people. Just do it, man. Just send that text. If you're thinking about somebody, just send a text. Trust me, just send a text. You know, don't let that energy go to waste. If you're thinking about somebody, like how's this person doing, but you don't want to reach out because they didn't reach out to you, or your birthday happened and they didn't tell you happy birthday. Just the petty stuff, let it go. Trust, man, because at some point you never want to be in a point where it's like, man, I should have said this, I should have said that. It's better to be in a place where I'm glad I said this and I'm glad I'll continue to say it. You feel me? Just rock with people, man. Like, the petty stuff is something that I know I've been a part of, and I'm doing my best to remove that because it doesn't serve me well. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about words like anger, envy, jealousy, that doesn't do anything good for you, for your heart, for your mind. It just creates a nasty feeling. So we keep telling ourselves beautiful words of, you know what I'm saying? Like the cliche words of love, and people gonna be like, oh my God, bro, like, hey, dog. Like I say, you're gonna be judged no matter what. But if you say good to yourself, you say true to yourself, and you feel like you're becoming a better person, and your people around you are enjoying your company, you're like, hey man, you like, I love your energy. You always have, then let's rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Some days it's gonna be tough. Some days you don't feel like being positive. I know there's days where I'm like, man, I'm kind of a little funky mood, but I gotta snap myself out of it because if not, I told my son all the time, Jacob, we don't have bad days. We have bad moments. You know what I'm saying? There's moments where it's just like, all right, we had little bad moments. You feel me? And we gonna keep rocking. All right, man. Hang with Beat Drop Podcast. Y'all take it easy. Y'all stay beautiful. Love y'all, man. Peace.